Hello beautiful people of this planet, welcome to my channel, this is Sunamoon, and today I am going to talk about my first magic mushroom experience in the beautiful paradise Pokhara. So let's get started. So guys, I was in Pokhara and I used to live in this beautiful village. So basically I had two places. One was at Lakeside and then there was this village which was like 2 hours away from Pokhara, the main Pokhara city. Beautiful place that I totally love. But I think that I was in that place for a reason. That phase of my life was the time when I was living with the hippies and I wasn't doing anything as such creatively, but I was like sort of preparing for the songs that I sing now. So there's this big beautiful lake and around the lake you could walk. So there are no roads in that place, by the way. So if you want to go to the other side, either you have to take a boat ride or you just have to walk. So I was walking with some friends. Nevertheless, coming back to that evening, so this American boy, he was walking, the one who gave me the lily, and I still have the picture of that flower. And I took that flower and I was very happy. It was a nice gesture actually, and it sort of made me release the inhibitions. And he was like, let's walk to that side, and it's beautiful. So he had swam a bit while I took like a long turn. There were other people also with us, like we were not alone. The sunset was one of the things that I wanted to go up to that side for. We all started walking, and then on the way we were talking about different experiences, and suddenly one of the persons started saying that this is the area, or this is the spot where you get a lot of magic mushrooms, and these magic mushrooms grow everywhere. Now I had never experienced anything, and I've still not tried LSD. Like I know a lot of people who have tried it and they have told me about their experiences, and some of them have had like very spiritual, very profound experiences, and some of the people have had like crazy psychotic experiences which are like scary, and some of the people had just really stupid experiences, like it was just seeing some lights and colors and like looking at the clouds and like very basic things. So finally I found the mushrooms. I could locate them and I found like a bunch of them, around 10 or 15 of them, but they were not fully grown, they were like semi-grown. So my friend told me that you can still go ahead with it, you can try it out, and I just took them with me and I kept it in my room and I kept staring at it. And I was feeling really stupid that I was judgmental towards my own self. I was like, hey, you can't do this. There are lots of things in my life that I actually did for the first time pretty late. I don't know why, but that's how my life has been. So yeah, my fear was, what's going to happen to me? Am I going to look stupid? Are people going to judge me? And this is not nice and blah blah blah, I'm just a traveler, I don't want to trip on these things. And I normally was not into any such thing, like it was not a big deal though, but still I was like, I have tried a lot of things in life, I'm not so innocent, guys. But this time I was actually overthinking so much, and I decided that I'm not going to overthink. I went back to my room wherever the mushrooms were kept and I ate all of them. But the crazy part was that nothing happened to me. Like nothing, absolutely nothing. And so next day I was like, dude, nothing happened. Like, why nothing happened? So he's like, maybe you kept it for too long, and they just lost that that energy or whatever that substance is actually. And this is, guys, I'm talking about natural stuff. I'm not talking about chemicals, I'm not talking about powders, I'm not talking about putting stuff inside your body, this is absolutely natural. You just pick them up from the ground, from the field, you wash them in clean water and you eat them like a regular mushroom, that you have for dinner or lunch. That's it. But it's just raw, or you can even have it like a milkshake. So nothing happened, and I was like, that was strange. Like I thought so much about it, like what's going to happen, I shouldn't be doing it. And finally after 4-5 hours of decision making, I decided, let me try it out, what's the worst that can happen? And then nothing happens. Like, what the hell? What's the point, Yeah, so I kind of regretted it. Like I should have eaten them long back. blah blah blah. So after a few days, there were some new people who came into the shack, and the oldies were there. Oldies in the sense the people who were there since long, the seniors, I would say. So these freshers came in and they started asking me what's a cool spot to go to, and I just randomly told them about this, this spot out across the lake. It's so nice and it's so beautiful. And one of those guys was really funny. He was from Austria, and there was one Nepalese guy with him. They were super funny people. Like, super funny means they could make you laugh all the time. You should never go swimming with such people, because you swimming with them, they crack jokes, and you can actually drown because you're laughing in the middle of the lake. So they were that hilarious. So nevertheless, they were very excited about this whole idea of looking for mushrooms suddenly, because I just happened to talk to them like the way I'm talking to you guys. And we're back on that trek, and this time we have really interested people. We have these Americans. I used to call them Americans because there were these 3-4 Americans, teenagers, and some were like in their 20s, mid-20s also. There were these Austrians, which are like the happy lot, and then there were a few more people from different parts of the world. So we all formed a group again and we went to trek. And this time, interestingly, I was like the group leader. Which is so funny. I still remember what was funny was that I was telling people like, this is that particular herb that gives you energy, this is that. So it was like, oh my god, this is like, you're just passing the stuff that was given to you. You're just passing on the information. So anyway, we reached that spot again, and this time we not only found tons of mushrooms, which is, yeah, that was crazy, but we also found them like in overgrown, proper size, like big size. So I think the last time it didn't work for me because they were still babies, they're not grown up properly. And this time they were like huge ass mushrooms, like really big mushrooms. So people who are aware about this, then they would know what I'm talking about. So one mushroom was like this big. So we collected like a good amount over there. We put them in like a plastic bag, and we came back home, and we start in the shack, not home, like home, shack, same thing. And then we split it up, like these many goes to you, these many goes to you, blah 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 blah. And this is after I had regretted, and I thought that if I get in next time, I'm definitely going to try. So I could see in the group there were some people who were reluctant, because one of the girls, she had tried, the American girl, she had tried mushrooms as a chemical drug, like a recreational drug at some parties, and she always had bad trips. So she didn't want to try it. She was very skeptical and she was very scared. And everyone was convincing her that, hey, it's not chemical, it's not like a powder, the effect won't be for so long, it will be good, it's absolutely natural, it doesn't have any side effects, and you will have a good time, and we are there to watch you. So always, whenever you want to experience something like this, there's nothing wrong in experiencing things. Overdoing things and getting addicted to them, getting hooked on to them is where the problem is. But once in a while, you can, there's no problem. So, but you should always be in good company. You should always be with good people who are going to take care of you. So this shack, the place where I was living, was like a family to me, because it was run by a Nepalese family, and they really, I have to say really so many times, because they really took care of me like their own family member. And I remember we were all crying when I came back from there. And this time too, when I was in Pokhara in 2018, I really wanted to meet them, but I could not, because I know that if I go to that place again, I would be stuck in a time zone. That place is like a time warp. That's how you say it, right? That place can suck you in. There's something to do with time over there. Time stops in that place, and I'm not the only one who experienced it. There were other people also experienced this thing, and they were all stuck like me for months. Some of them were stuck for months, and I was also stuck for months. And after all that experience, all the months were over, I finally realized why the universe had put me in that place in the first place, because there was a reason. It was actually preparing me for a really big tragedy that was ahead of me. And if I would not have stayed for those 4.5 months in that place, in that beautiful place where I learned about one love, where I learned that things are temporary and things are eternal at the same time, and there are no hard and fast rules to anything. It's your journey. You just have to play it the way you want to play it, and everything will be supportive to you if you are supportive to yourself. These are the things I learned. So life was actually preparing me for a big loss, for a big tragedy that was about to happen. soon after this trip ended, and that was my father's bad health and his passing away, which was a big shock to me. It was like a soul shock for me. But if I hadn't gone through all these experiences, and I hadn't received so much love from people all over the world, and through myself, of course, and through the universe, and I would have never been able to tackle it, because I am like very emotional, and I am a person who, I love people with my whole heart and soul. So obviously he was an important person in my life, so his loss was like a really big shock for me. So any which way, that day what I experienced was exceptionally beautiful, because what is within us is always reflected outside. The inner state of being of a person, of a human being, is always reflected outside. So life outside us, the physical reality that we see, the three-dimensional world that we see where things are happening in a state of flux, is basically a hologram. You know, it's like a hologram of everything that's going within you. So inside of me, everything was harmonious, beautiful, and it was, in plain words, I was like connected to myself, to nature, to everything. So what I saw outside of me was a pure, beautiful example of sacred geometry. And as it is, I was in a beautiful place. So as soon as the effect started taking over, nothing really happened. I didn't do anything crazy, but I was extremely aware. It stays with you. The experience that you have through magic mushroom, the natural one, the one that is found in the jungles, that stays with you, because it is such a rare, such an extraordinary experience. So what stayed with me was, in front of me, I could see the mountain, the river, the skies, the clouds, the trees, the plants, everything. But it all became one whole thing. And I could see sacred geometry everywhere, on my body, on my face, on my, like everywhere around me. And I could literally dissect light. So normally the light comes like this, but under that experience, I could see the different waves that are formed of light. And when I was looking at myself in the mirror, that was even more profound. It was the most profound experience of my life, and it never leaves me. It gives me a lot of strength. So in between, when I would focus on my skin and I would go close, I could see the beautiful patterns that we have, and these patterns are all existing in nature. And that's the time I saw the connection between the mountain with the rivers, with the lake, and even within the river there was these beautiful ripples that were forming, and those ripples could be seen and broken down in the form of sacred geometry. Everywhere, everything that is present in front of us is sacred geometry, and I could see it absolutely clearly with my naked eyes. This experience was so enchanting, so beautiful. And then the whole feeling, there was this profound feeling. And I remember I did a bit of dancing, because I love dancing, and I used to be a bit shy, but since that day, all of my shyness when it comes to express as an artist, I don't know where, it just flew away. I remember dancing, there was music being played in the shack, and it was beautiful music. There was these tribal beats or something, and I just did some dance, and I remember everyone was admiring it, and I didn't even realize it was like all those things came to me later on. And there was another person who was under the same effect. He also danced with me. He was just trying to do some Indian dancing. But yeah, like when I look back, it was funny. Now it seems to be funny, but that point in time it wasn't funny. And the rest were just so nice to me. I could just feel so much love emanating from everyone. I could see how much they care for me. These people, I don't even know them. They're from different countries. I have no idea where they're going to be in life after this journey, this travel experience. But they were really looking after me. They were very caring towards me. Everyone was, and I could see, some of them were concerned and some of them were like smiling, and they knew, like people who run the guest house, they knew like these hippies are up to something today. So yeah, that was like simple like somber look on my face, and I was very normal, and I was actually chit-chatting. I was also talking to everyone. I was playing the music, I was looking at the view. Then I went to my room, I sat alone. It was more like I was in complete total awareness. So everything was normal. And after I think 4-5 hours, the effect was over, and I could experience like all the three-dimensional stuff, because I was actually seeing the world in a different way. Like I had opened myself to a very different dimension where everything was either in 5-dimensional form, or you could like literally break through stuff. You could see the different levels of connections everything had at that time, and the connection of plants with you, your own body. Even our body has so much of sacred geometry going on into it. So it was like total science expedition for me. And maybe this was also like a culmination of all the things that I had been studying in life, and all the things that I was so open to, that I'm actually open to everything. I study these things, are my subjects. Like mythology is my subject, science is my subject, intergalactic books, Dolores Cannon, I study a lot of Dr. Joe Dispenza, Louise L. Hay. There is a long list. And when you talk about fantasy, or you talk about other things like fables, but still all the things that come from the world of positivity and a different level of thinking, then Paulo Coelho is one of my favorite writers. So there are so many beautiful, wonderful writers who share so much with the planet, like just by being themselves, by doing the studies they do. I was not feeling scared at all. It was not a bad trip at all. It was not a good trip. It was something else. Something beyond my imagination and my expectation. I never even expected that something like this would happen. Probably a lot of things happen in movies, or they're written by a lot of people in books, but until and unless you actually experience something like this on your own, you would never know. Now there were other people too who were having these experiences, but some of them just saw some hallucinations, different formats of lights. So my experience was very extensive. It was very extensive, it was very deep, and I still feel that it was just a hologram of what was going on within me. I was very open and very, very clear that any information that comes to me, I won't get scared or paranoid. I would just observe and like take it in, soak it into my system. So this was my experience of magic mushrooms. I did try it once more, but that was at Lakeside, and it was another crazy experience. But after that, I neither felt the need to do it, neither I attracted a situation where some experience of this nature would happen. It was only during that phase in Pokhara. The next experience was even beyond this dimension and whatever I had experienced before that. So what really happened was that the first experience where nothing happened prepared me to be more open and grateful, and have a lot of gratitude for the number 2 experience, which was amazing. And then it sort of opened me up furthermore for the third experience. And after that, like I said, I've neither tried or neither I'm so much into it. But the information, the download I received was so deep, so intense, and so amazing that it changed my life forever. And this is a real life experience, guys, and it's very spontaneous. This was not planned. The third time also, it wasn't really planned. It just happened, and I was like, okay, whatever, I have already tried it once, so it wasn't so bad after all, so let me just do it again. Now, I have seen people tripping on LSD. I have seen people tripping on very crazy type of drugs. I've seen people doing MDMA in Goa also. I can talk a lot about everything, honestly, guys, but today in this vlog, this is what I'm going to talk about. If you are interested in knowing about my third experience, then let me know, because there's a lot I have to talk, and I don't want to go on for like such a long time just talking about this. And there are other people, yes, who have made like an hour-long videos also, but this is enough for me right now. If you want to know more, if you are interested, because the third experience was super, 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 super amazing. So let me know, comment about it, and let me know, and maybe I'll tell you about it if I think it would be the right thing to do, or, I feel like sharing it. But thank you so much for being here with me, and thank you so much for going through this vlog and giving me your love. I love you too, and I just wanna say that life is beautiful, and I hope that everyone lives it fully. Thank you so much. See you in some other video. Bye.